Seasonic has sent me 2 triple packs of their MAGFLOW ARGB fans, and here is one of those triple packs, or 3 fans, whirring away. Look, magnets. You see? Clever stuff. Now I could stand here and discuss fans with you for a while, but I think we'd all get a bit bored with that. So instead, how about I use these components, and a few others, and show them in action.
Unleash the power of RTX 4080 Super with superior liquid cooling.
The case for this Seasonic build is the Lian O11 Air Mini. I reviewed it a while back and it's been sitting idle, and that seems like a shame. It's a nice case. Off with the top panel, off with the side glass, off with the right hand panel, and off with the front panel. We're going to be swapping out all the fans, of course, so let's take out the 2 front nice quickly detachable mounts. The case comes with 2 140s in the front and a 120 in the rear. Let's have that out, because we're going to RGB the entire thing with the Seasonic fans. And put those to one side. Remove this drive plate and cable cover. For cooling, I'm going custom loop. We have an EKWB Kinetic, that's a 240mm with a DDC built in the bottom, and that's going to go in the side. The Quantum Kinetic pump reservoir unit mounts where you'd otherwise install a couple of fans. There's plenty of space in the O11 mini case, and we have the option of raising or lowering the Kinetic pump reservoir. And that's the pump reservoir installed. For the motherboard, I'm going Mini ITX with this Gigabyte B650i Aorus Ultra. The processor installed in the socket under the Thermalright hold down plate is a Ryzen 9 7950X. Memory is some G.Skill Trident Z Neo DDR5 6000, and Neo means that it supports AMD Expo rather than Intel XMP. There is a Sabrent Rocket 4.0 SSD under the heatsink. And for the CPU block, I'm going with EKWB Magnitude. Full nickel. Arctic thermal compound. Just like that. And on with the block. And we secure the screws until the heads are flush inside the block. So we're going with a set height rather than a specific torque. I think that should do the trick nicely. Okay, motherboard assembly into case. And that's a fairly straightforward operation. Installing the Mini ITX motherboard requires a mere 4 screws, and there is plenty of room inside the Lian O11 Air Mini. And with the panels removed, we have all the access we could possibly require, making the job particularly easy. And there we go. You won't be the least bit surprised to hear I'm using a Seasonic power supply in this Seasonic PC build. But which Seasonic power supply? I have here a pair of Focus power supplies, and they're both GX1000, so rated at 1000 watts, and gold, but they are quite different. This is the old Focus GX1000, and it looks like that. Licorice cables and no 12-volt high power connector. However, this new ATX3 Focus Gold, which was recently reviewed by Alan and did very well, is completely different. You can see, even by eye, the cooling fan larger. We have individual stranded cables, and we have a 12-volt high power connector for RTX 4090 and slightly lesser NVIDIA graphics. So they're both Focus GX1000s, but this new ATX3 unit has had a significant overhaul, and that is the power supply I'm going to put in the Lian case.
If you're looking for a new chair, then you should definitely check out Booley's. I'm currently sat on their Ninja Pro gaming chair, which is one of 3 models from their gaming series alongside the Elite and the master. So if you're looking for something new to stick in your setup that you can sit on and game and work, then I recommend definitely checking out boolies.co.uk.
And that looks like this. And with those components installed, we can turn to the Radiator and the Seasonic MAGFLOW ARGB fans. For the Radiator, I'm sticking with the nickel theme of the EK CPU block. I'm going for this Alphacool Nexus XT45 full copper radiator, and as you can see, it is silver nickel plated. A radiator I've actually had on the shelf for some considerable time, and I've never got around to using. So, its time has now come. That rad I'm going to put in the roof. And you'll note with the O11 Air Mini, I have plenty of space for a chunky rad in the roof, because I've actually lowered the motherboard to the mid position rather than having it up high. And then we come to the fans, which after all are at the heart of this video. Seasonic MAGFLOW ARGB, 120mm units. They link together magnetically, and the connection pad handles both PWM and ARGB. And then at the end we put on a cable unit which has a little breakout hub for ARGB. At the end we have SATA power to run the thing, and also an ARGB connector, and there we have a PWM connector. And in the accessory pack we have mounting screws to install the fans in your case. We have extension cables for both PWM and ARGB, and there we have a cable so we can daisy chain together the fans should we, for example, put two fans on our rad in the roof and then one fan in the rear. We need to link these two together. Interesting stuff, and I'm looking forward to using them. So, radiator in the roof and fans in the case. With the radiator and fans installed and then the fans connected up, the next step is to install some fittings and some clear tubing. After that I use my EK leak tester to pressure test the system, and the loop is holding. The next step is to fill the loop. I'm going to use this EK CryoFuel Mystic Fog, and then I'm going to install a graphics card which is a Gigabyte RTX 4080 Gaming OC, and naturally it has a 12V high power connector, and that of course was the purpose of installing that new ATX 3.0 Focus GX 1000 power supply. So we're near to having the system ready to run. And we have some RGB and the pump going at full clappers. It's a rare combination, Seasonic and ARGB lighting. But here we have it. I'm going to play with some fan curves, get the system up and running into Windows, and then we'll see how it behaves. Our finished PC looks very smart, and now seems like a good time to give you a few details about those Seasonic MAGFLOW ARGB fans. They're rather expensive. A single fan will cost you $35 or 34 euros. A 3-fan kit, which comes with an ARGB controller, will cost you $100 or 100 euros. The fans are rated with a maximum speed of 2000 RPM. They have fluid dynamic bearings. As already discussed, they are fully PWM controlled. They have a 3-year warranty, and they have 26 LEDs per fan, which gives you rather a nice light show. One snag of building an AMD Zen 4 PC is that AMD loves to run the processor hot. They get the maximum performance this way, but the snag is that Gigabyte's fan curves ramp up fan speed when the temperature rises. So even though we started off with the fans running low and slow at 1000 RPM, they rapidly got rather noisy, as you can hear. This isn't a review, but to put some numbers on the thermal performance, running a combination of Cinebench R23 and Speedway stress test, the PC was drawing 685 watts at the wall socket, of which 226 watts was going to the processor and 250 watts to the GPU. Our processor was sat at 95 Celsius under load, the GPU a mere 65. And as I say, while this isn't a review, I do have an opinion about these Seasonic MAGFLOW ARGB fans. I like them. I like the fact they use PWM and motherboard software control for the ARGB lighting. You don't have extra software on top. That's a good thing. The fans are easy enough to install. The cabling's reasonably tidy. I don't feel the need for fans that run as fast as 2000 RPM. 1500 RPM will be fine, even 1200 RPM. For me, low, slow and quiet are the watchwords. However, Seasonic has a very limited range of fans and they don't want dozens of SKUs in stock. I totally understand that. Overall, I like the light show and I like the aesthetic of these fans, and I'm glad we've taken the time to look at Seasonic's MAGFLOW ARGB fans and of course their Focus GX1000 ATX 3.0 power supply. Don't forget to visit kitguru.net and to read Alan's review of that very power supply.